See a screen moving. Welcome, welcome. Mr. Blue here. Hopefully y'all had a good weekend. Good trading week last week. Good trading day yesterday. Hopefully y'all had all that. Good morning, good morning. All right, back at it. And let's hit it. Today's date, Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. I'm going to go through, probably spend about an hour on stream here, give or take. And we are going to go over some pre-market routine, some prep. And we'll see how the market's kind of open. And if I see fit for a trading opportunity, we'll take it. We'll take it, or I'll take it, and I'll express the reasons why and the risks associated. That being said, let's dive in. Real quick, just in terms of news catalyst, we do want to be aware of this. Today being Tuesday the 10th, there's really not much here today, right? If y'all can see this, just basic forexfactory.com. Key takeaway here to move on, just to move on. And just to move on, we have tomorrow morning the CPI. So we got CPI. That's going to be a big one. So I'll be with the team tomorrow morning, and we'll be able to trade through that tomorrow morning in the trade room. But just if you're not part of Phantoms, or if you can't attend that live, just make sure that that's on your radar for tomorrow morning, December 11th. Okay, which is what tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Friday and Thursday. Going to Thursday, that would bring us to Thursday. We have the euro. There's the rate for that coming out tomorrow. Thursday the 12th. Okay, also Swissy. Okay, for forex traders, I trade forex as well. And then we got core PPI and unemployment claims for the U.S. on Thursday. So we got some stuff this week, right? In addition to that, I've been making a note, or just giving some advancement, if you will, for the Fed meeting, which is next week. Okay, 8 days from now. So we got the Fed on December 18th. Okay, so we're going to talk a little more about that towards the end of this week and going into next week. That being said, yeah, Google's up. A lot of things are up. Things move overnight. Hopefully y'all caught Tesla with the team. But I'm going to start this out a bit more formally here. As always, supply demand is going to be the main backdrop of Phantoms. Okay, demand and supply, institutional demand and supply. And just kind of put a framework here from a top-down multiple time frame approach, right? So starting with the higher time frames as always, right? Monthly, weekly, daily. Orange, yellow, blue is kind of the color code here that I would utilize just so you kind of know what higher time frame reference points we're using. So if you see demand supply zones on the with these colors, that's going to be oriented to that specific time frame. Okay, orange being monthly, yellow, weekly, daily, blue. Quick little checklist for the folks at Phantoms, right? And then we have candlesticks, location being most important, bullish, bearish. I even think even on YouTube, I gave out a couple things, regarding a couple formations. I think it was in Tesla, give or take, maybe Bitcoin, I'm not sure. Okay, but yeah, this is super important here. Location of these candlesticks, mainly important. Okay, bearish candlesticks, same thing. Location of these said candlesticks being very important. And then the liquidity map, which is how markets move, buy, sells, up, down, sideways. We focus on what side, the right side to be on. Get on the right side of the market and ride. Okay. Getting over to futures, really briefly, think or swim here. I will start out with the major four indexes here. So I got the S&P futures upper left. I got NASDAQ upper right. Dow Jones lower left. Russell 2000 bottom right. I'll pop open the daily time frame of the S&P 500. So this is the S&P futures daily time frame. And we've been talking a lot about this pullback, right? A bull market, right? We've been grinding higher. We closed November pretty decent, right? Up, right? If you look at your monthly bar closing. All right, so this is the monthly candle or monthly time frame of S&Ps. So this is what the second week into the month of December, right? So we closed pretty massively, pretty big bar here, right? For the month of November. So, we're December 10th. We got a couple things. We got CPI this week, as mentioned, PPI, right? We got a couple of central banks with the rates coming out this week, and then we got US next week, right? So, we got some things in terms of headwinds, if you will, that could potentially, provide some movement. Right now, S&Ps are already up pretty significantly, up Nasdaq as well. So, it'll be pretty interesting to see how this market reacts and responds over this week, how it closes this week, and going into next week with the Fed. But I would not be surprised if we kind of pull back a bit more further down. And there is something called the Santa Claus rally, if you will, which is typically the markets typically towards the end of the year will typically have kind of a rally for the quote unquote Santa Claus rally. Now, just because that is typically the case does not always mean it's going to always be the case, right? So as always, we're going to be trading the setups and the chart, right? Point being is this chart might be a little bit more cleaner. I'm going to get back to futures. I know I kind of rabbit holed there for a second or for a couple of minutes here, but this might be a little bit more cleaner to see because yesterday did put in a nice little bearish day there. And that was kind of across the board, not just FANG being weak. All sectors for the most part yesterday opening up this week were pretty much down. But put a nice little red bar in for yesterday, right? So hopefully I did well regarding this little drop there with the VIX slightly higher, but this is good, right? I'm kind of expecting some kind of pullback here. So, we'll map out levels and things like that. If I have more time, we'll go more detail with the team tomorrow. But I'm actually welcoming a nice little pullback down into some certain areas here to potentially get back activated long into the marketplace. Okay, all other things being equal. Okay, so as you can see, that bar right there, daily time frame on the S&P futures. We had this like kind of slow grind up for the past, I'd say 2, maybe 3 weeks. S&Ps, NASDAQ kind of been flushing down a little bit intraday. They give like 1, 2, 3 hour, red candles down coming into some demand and it'll just fade back up, right? Flushes down, kind of fade back up, flushes down, kind of grind, fade back up, right? So, yesterday was the first day in a long time where not only was it just a flush, right, flush down, it kind of has some sustainability, if that's right, a big word there, right? It kind of sustained its kind of move down just a little bit, just on the small time frames. When I go down the small time frames, I'll put a couple notes in there in addition to that as well. But we'll see, right? So that could potentially provide. Now, just be careful with that. Doesn't mean that just short this market, it's going to go down, down, down. Just be cautious, careful as always, right? Because remember, we're still in a bull market, and these markets can just pick up buyers, okay, and then just have kind of like a rip your face kind of up move very quickly. Okay, that's what happens typically in a bear market. So bull market. So just be careful with that. All that being said, did we put in a nice little red bar close yesterday below some prior day lows? Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. Right. So we'll see if we have what's called continuation on that. All right, but as always, we're going to take it step by step. NASDAQ futures, daily time frame here, same thing. Now, NASDAQ has been a bit more, I would say, past couple of weeks, more relatively stronger, okay, on this move up. We got Apple making all-time highs, Amazon flying all-time highs, Tesla flying to the upside, okay. Microsoft, Google kind of off their all-time highs, but picking up some what's the word? Some steam, I should say, right? We've had a couple trades that done very well going bullish, right? Microsoft was a big one last week. Okay, Google as well, we were long. Okay, so Tesla, all that kind of stuff, right? So tech is kind of just leading the way just a little bit again for right now. I had mentioned that with the inflows, outflows of the ETFs. Okay, so we'll see. So before, NASDAQ was a bit more weaker, relatively speaking, but now it's a bit more, it's leading the way a bit back on track. Okay, so as you can see, right now as it stands, futures in terms of which one's strong or weak, S&P is literally flat, NASDAQ slightly higher, and then we get Dow Jones down 0.21%, and we got Russell 2000 down 0.11%. So you can even see just with those numbers, very small numbers. Okay, Nasdaq it's up, just holding up very slightly, basically flat. All right, just relatively speaking, it's a little bit more stronger right now. Okay, Dow Jones and the Russell 2000, Dow's been pretty good, all-time highs, just fading lower. So you can see Dow Jones is already kind of leading the way in terms of bearishness. The pullback. I shouldn't say bearishness, but pullback deeper from a couple days ago, making it all-time high, right? So again, the key takeaway here is going to be Nasdaq's a bit more stronger, S&P is kind of flat, okay, and then we get the Dow Jones Russell a bit more weaker. Okay, I'm going to go over to we're going to map out our Globex traps, so therefore go over to the darker background, probably will be better anyway, so y'all can see the screen. So think or swim here, I have the S&P futures here, I got the monthly time frame here, weekly time frame here in the middle, daily here on the right, monthly, weekly, daily. All right, so even though yesterday we put it in a red day, okay, what have you, we need that. You need those down days, you need those down weeks. Sometimes you need those down months, right? Which is not bad. It's not a bad thing. So I know it's going to be hard to see with all these lines here, right? So the point that I'm trying to make here is even though we put in a red day yesterday, okay, if you look at the higher time frames, monthly, weekly, okay, we're still in a very solid, beautiful uptrend bull market, higher high, higher low. That being said, we're going to drop down to the smaller time frames. I have the 60-minute time frame upper here, upper left, 30-minute here, bottom left, 5-minute here in the middle, 2-minute here on the right. I'm going to open up the 60-minute time frame, 1-hour time frame of the S&P futures. One of the first things that we are going to do, is map out our Globex high and our Globex low, which is just a fancy word for overnight session high and low. So in Thinkorswim, it kind of grazed the space out for us there. And the Globex high is right here. So I'm just going to put that line representative of that price point. All right, which comes in at about what, 60.72-ish, give or take, right? So we opened up down here, kind of, flat, not moving that much, rallied up a little bit a couple of hours ago. Okay, then we're, coming off that a little bit there, creating the Globex high. Globex low, right here, represented by this blue line here. All right. And, as you can see, we have a couple levels here. This one was kind of aggressive. I didn't even put a price point on that. We kind of dipped down into here yesterday, kind of switched out a little bit here, kind of rallied back up. Nice little drop yesterday, right? 60-minute time frame S&P futures. Okay, then we eventually broke through that. All right, went lower, came down to the next level, which I had demand zone that's just parked there. What is it, 60-60? All right, 60-60. Not sure if anyone took this trade. All right, 60-60. All right, came in here, impulse, basing impulse. This was created during the regular trading hours. Okay, and as you can see right now, that's basically where the market kind of parked overnight and kind of stopped and halted, right? And kind of a little rally. I'm not sure if anybody took that. Okay, so that's where we are right now. So we have Globex high here. Getting long story short here, we want to set up what's called Globex traps. Globex traps. So one of the things that you want to look for is, do I have a supply level, institutional level of supply, I should say, above a Globex high to sell short against? And now with this drop that we kind of did have, and we'll see how this potentially has continuation. I would not be surprised one bit if it doesn't really get much fall through to the downside, and we kind of just base and break higher. But we could be coming lower a little bit, which is welcomed as always. But the point that I'm trying to make here for today is, do I have supply above Globex high? The answer would be yes. I mean, we could use this area right here, okay, which comes in at about 60, call it 83. All right. Now I want to be extremely careful with this level here. Remember, we're still in a macro bull uptrend, right? So this is going to be extremely aggressive if you wanted to lean against this as a potential Globex trap short. Okay, so this is super aggressive. Let's make a note of that. And this is really, I'll drill down to the smaller time frames in a moment. But be extremely careful with this one here. This is futures, S&P. I'm on a 6-minute time frame. The level, the drop-based drop, the actual, the level itself is, a small time frame in here. This is just a wick, so I want to be extremely careful here, right? That's why I have a note here, extremely aggressive. Okay, at 60.84. Now, if I go higher up, we have a couple levels up here, all right, that we have a bit more formation, right? Now, this level up here, there's a couple of them, right? This level up here, this one was formed overnight, called 6,100, nice even number. Right. I would not be surprised if there's a level up here too, right? So I would not be surprised if there's some liquidity fishing right up here, right above 61.05 ish. So I would not be surprised if there's going to be some aggressive short stop loss sweeps up here. So you could potentially lean against that there. Stop loss sweep probably above 61.10. I mean 61.06. Okay, another level right up here, call it 61.10. So there's levels on levels up here. Let's do this level on level. Okay, so there could be some potential liquidity sweeping up here. All right, and you know, we could reference this one as well. There's a couple things up here, right? So this was the sell-off that we had, you know, or the drop that we had from yesterday, right? So that's the regular trading hours right in here. So, you know, call it 60.97. All right. All right, there we go. All right, it's just yesterday's drop. Okay, so you got a couple things here. So be extremely careful with the 60.84 handle right here. Okay, we could be potentially come a bit more higher up here. Okay, remember the bull market, folks. Bull market, bull market, bull market still. Okay, came down lower, 60.60, great. I have a couple levels down here, 60.50. This level is not fresh or prime. Okay, so that's why I still have that kind of aggressive trap. This should be long. Don't know my colors. Okay. Then we have a couple levels down in here too, 60.40, then we got 60.30 down in here. Here's an IBI right in here. We spent a little time, I think, in the room referencing this level right here. The date is 11/29, November 29th. Okay, there's an IBI, impulse basing impulse down here at 60.30. Okay, and if I had a little bit more time, I would go into the, I think I have it already here actually, 60.30, which is 11/29. Do I use certain entries on traps levels, or just depends? It depends on the high quality, the setup itself. It's the 29th. Right in here, yeah, that's this one right here. So that's S&P 625, 6025, 600.25. All right, so yeah, these purple down here are going to be equivalent to where those lower Globex traps are. So, for example, to answer that question from Lewis, if I have a high quality level of demand, and I'm trading with trend, like in other words, if I came down to that gap fill down here, 60.30, 60.20 for S&P futures and with SPYs, I'm going to be more inclined to do what's called just a front side limit order entry in. Just a set and forget, kind of put it in there pending, good to go. If I have a fresh, nice level, and that's trading, it's going with the overall uptrend. If I have, for example, like an aggressive level right here, this is like aggressive 60.84 or even 60, call it 95, 97 up here. I might want to wait for a negative COG up here potentially, right? So if it's super high quality and it's trading with trend, I'll just put a limit order there and let it rip. If it's not, and I don't get kind of like a high score on it, and it's kind of a sketchy level, for lack of a better term right now, I'm going to treat it a little bit different and let it prove to me a bit that there's indeed some buyers and sellers at that particular level. Hopefully that helps. NASDAQ. Globex high, Globex low. Here's the high. Here's the low. All right. Levels are already mapped out below us here. Okay. 21,340. 21, 4, 21,240s, 245. So many numbers in NASDAQ. Okay. I wanted to be careful with this level right here that we were mentioning. This level, this impulse, basing impulse right here, developed November 4th, give or take right in here. That's developed overnight. So I wanted to be a little careful with that one with the team. Okay. And I had mentioned that I would not be surprised if they stop loss swiped right below this level right in here. Okay. So, I'd be careful with this here. It could be some liquidity sweeping. The 21,245 would be decent here. That's why I don't have a note here. Just G trap long, not bad right there. Okay, that's a good one, right? That's a pretty good one there. It was one supply, now demand on the other side. So just keep it short and sweet. If we do get some volatility that opens up this market again here today, 21,245 would be the safer play for the potential global trap long for Nasdaq. All right, the 21,340. Just be careful with that. Again, I would probably almost elect to put my entry at 21,300. Is probably 01. Okay, 21,301 for a stop loss sweep, and this is potentially where you could be taking an entry as people are getting stopped out, stop loss swiped. Okay, right below this level, right here. Okay, all right, which is that one right there. This is the stop loss swipe, so impulse, basing impulse. So yeah, I know it's kind of random, but this is the way markets work, especially in futures. They'll come stop loss hunt real quick, swipe out, and then they take it, right? Especially in a bull market, they swipe. Okay, all right, right, and trap people are trying to do what? Sell short, red bar down in a bull market, and then next thing you know, potentially it ends up being a wick, and then they rally right back up, right? So Globex high, do have a couple levels up here. Now it's not as kind of, Nasdaq is a bit more cleaner than S&Ps. There's one level here as a reference, and there's one level here. Pretty basic. Everybody and their grandmother can see these levels. All right, so just be careful with them. All right, all-time high, of course, in S&P, Nasdaq futures all the way up here. Okay, I'll just put a couple price points here as reference. All right, so we got 21,000. I'm just gonna quote the last three. 618. This would be an aggressive short. Aggressive. Why is it aggressive? Because if you're shorting this market in a bull market, it's aggressive. But it gotta come down. Yes, I agree. At some point it does, but just be careful with that, right? All right, got levels up here, so short, right? 618, 650s. Would not be surprised if there's a liquidity sweep kind of right above here, and it kind of just stops in between these two zones, as mentioned in the S&P futures. All right, and then referencing just this is the all-time high. So this is the all-time high. So I mean, there's nothing else to say other than it's the all-time high. All right, I'm just putting a price point at the basing candle. Pretty simple, standardized procedure stuff that you learn in kindergarten. All right, this is just the all-time high level. All right, give or take. All right. For my phantoms, they know the deal. So we have what am I on a 60-minute time frame, right? So we could. I like when the yes, this is the hourly chart. This is the 1 hour time frame of Nasdaq. Yes, sir. The negative COG. We just put in a negative COG on the 1 hour time frame, right? That we just mentioned, right? Answering that question there. So we are above VWAP, that white dash right line right there. Now, I like when markets, especially before the open, right, about an hour or two, hourly, 30-minute time frame, give or take, 1 or 2 bars right before the open, because we have a negative COG here, and for my phantoms, they would know this, that are trained up a bit more. This is a negative COG, and this is a bar that we can lean against. Now, this is red bar closed below this green bar here. Yesterday's close, I probably want to do it more in the S&Ps because it's a bit more weaker. Right, as we mentioned, spent some time in the morning regarding that. discussing that a bit. And the point that I'm trying to make here, long story short, is if this bar gives out, meaning this is a negative COG, we're not below VWAP, which is that white dash line right there. We should be able to get some continuation on this negative COG if these sellers are going to pick back up here for today and potentially come back down if this was going to have some stronger momentum. Now, if we break this bar and close back up above this is a negative COG failure. All right, this would be back above VWAP and above the 20 and the 50 pair moving average. So if we break it, this is going to give us a bar, a candle, all right, that we can lean against, okay, to give us some insight, meaning who's in control, buyers or sellers. In other words, if over the next hour or two we have a green bar that takes out this red bar positive COG, we would still be above VWAP because VWAP's right here. It'll probably just trickle to the upside here. Okay, that's letting us know that the buyers could potentially be picking right back up into this market. Okay, which we could easily just kind of grind and fade higher up into yesterday's area where we sold off in the morning. Right? Does that make sense? Coming back up here. Okay, so we don't know that right now. All right, but be patient. All right, right now we have a negative COG. Okay, if I was short or if I was looking to get short, I would want this to be below VWAP, okay, which is that white dash line right there. It's not happening right now. So again, we were just kind of talking briefly about scoring of levels and having things line up. Right now, nothing is really 100% lined up because we have a big, a decent move down yesterday. Okay, we kind of settled down, okay, at some areas of demand on the smaller time frames. Okay, overnight, we, kind of quiet. We had a little bump up. And then now we're kind of fishing out, okay, what's going to happen here off the open in about 15 minutes? Who's going to win this battle here? The Bulls, the Bears. Okay, right now, last bar closed on 6-minute time frame. The Bears are trying to take it back over. We're still above VWAP. Okay, so we might be able to get some continuation lower on this. Okay, but if this bar gets violated, okay, and you're short, you got to get out. Okay, you got to get out because that means buyers are taking back over if we have a positive COG back above this 1 hour time frame here. Okay, it's a concept that we learned a bit more in detail before I transition. As I get my coffee. If you want a little bit more about that, because that sounds like a different language, cool. Go to TradePhantoms.com, click on the register bar there. All right, this Thursday, you'll be able to get an insight. This Thursday, the 12th, 7 p.m. Eastern, you're going to be able to insight, name, email with a live class hosted by Mr. Black, Mr. Green, and there's an agenda right there. All right, moving on. VIX, VIX. Volatility index of the S&P 500. Okay, more to it other than just VIX up, market down, VIX down, market up. But for right now, we got VIX down slightly, right? We got a 14 VIX. In fact, insurance is extremely cheap if you want to insure your portfolios. As S&Ps are kissing 27 odd percent up for the year so far, and we're already in December, right? Santa Claus coming to town soon, so we're up pretty decently, right? So anyways, we'll talk more about that with my phantoms. We have more time. Today, yesterday's high, yesterday's low in VIX is here. All right, so again, inverse correlation. So VIX down, market up, VIX up, market down. So you can see yesterday when we dropped down, VIX was up for the most part all day, right? And also the VIX had a pro gap up, by the way. Again, more detail on that. You'd understand more things in detail when I have more time, okay, throughout the classes and things like that and live trade room. Point that I'm trying to make is today, VIX is kind of slightly fading down. So we track this just like everything with the higher time frames. But in addition to that, we also track it on the smaller time frames as well. So if you're an intraday day trader as well, right? So Globex high being here, just like we did in futures, Globex low being here, represented by these lines. Gray space is the overnight. So you can kind of see this is where, VIX is, right? So, and I want to see if the VIX continues to potentially rally off the back of yesterday's rally on the VIX, drop in the market. That could be a bit more bearish for the market down, as VIX is up, okay? If the VIX continues to fade lower and continues to come lower, trending today down, okay, that could be market up, okay? Inverse correlation, all right? Inverse correlation. SPYs, talked a little bit about SPYs already. Daily time frame of SPY. All right, putting a nice little red bar as mentioned. Last week's high, last week's low, yesterday's high, yesterday's low in blue and yellow, as you can see. Got some VWAPs here, right? So, we closed here with the Mickey Mouse hand right here. Slight gap higher, inside gap, so nothing too crazy there. All right, so just be patient on the tape. QQQs. NASDAQ ETF. You know, long story short, closed here. Okay, slight gap up, inside gap today. So gap up, yes, albeit, but inside gap kind of coming back into mid yesterday's range. So nothing too crazy here jumping off the map. Russell 2000, you know, with the rise of NASDAQ kind of taking lead back over, you know, here's the Russell 2000. You did put in a fairly bearish formation here, yesterday's close here. Okay, so this is on the list of bearishness in the event that indexes do go lower. Okay, Russell 2000, slight gap down, okay, off of yesterday's close. Okay, so, you know, Russell 2000 a bit more bearish. All right, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to just bypass bonds for right now. Well, we are long bonds, I should say. I forgot to go over gold futures, by the way. I guess I should probably do that real quick. You know, we are long TLT on this, like from over here, 11.6. Okay. You know, bond price down, mean yield up, market down. So we get yields slightly down, but yields and bonds have been kind of doing their own thing separately. I did forget to go over gold futures, which is a crime. And let's not do that and not skip it. Monthly, weekly, daily on gold. Okay. You know, you can, I'm not going to go long here, right? Making a long story short, you can watch some of the past recordings on, even on YouTube. Okay. We talked about this level here weekly. And then we talked about this daily bar here on 11/25, November 25, right? And we just slapped down from this daily supply, which needed to be absorbed. And then we just been on a base for what, 2 weeks now, give or take. Okay. So we're on what, we're on the second inside week. This is going to be potentially the third week, but we are not done with this week, right? Yeah, it's only Tuesday, right? So we are above the 20-period moving average on this. Now, remember, 2 weeks ago, give or take, over here, the 11.18 bar on the weekly, that was a positive COG that got put in 2-3 weeks ago, right? And then we went inside bar on that. Now, are we already above last week's high in gold? Are we already above last week's high in gold? You know, if I was in the trade room, you know, I have Phantoms answer that. Some of y'all might be thinking of answering that. You know, I'm not even looking for an answer, but to give you the answer would be yes. We're already breaking above last week's high, but last week's high or last week's candle in the weekly time frame here in the middle is not the mother bar. The mother bar is the 11.18 weekly bar here. So yes, even though we are breaking last week's high, okay, we're not breaking the mother bar. Now, breaking last week's high already is pretty good because we have red bar down, rising 20-period moving average here on the weekly. We have a basing on the daily. Yesterday's close was a positive COG. We did close above some prior red bars the prior 2 days, back above the rising 20-period moving average or the flat 20-period moving average on the daily time frame. So the point that I'm trying to make is monthly is up, weekly is still up, daily is base, but it's basing and potentially trying to break to the upside, and things are starting to get more, and things are more lined up to the upside, meaning bullishness. Okay, so remember, after a period of basing, if things do start to break out up or down, they typically would go, okay, in a bit more of a momentum move. Okay, that's how markets move. They get coiled up, they boil up, right? And then it kind of like as boiling water to a kettle. If you don't tend to it, it blows up, right? So the point that I'm trying to make is we are in a period of boiling on gold, and we're starting to break up to the upside, and we are going to be more inclined to put the odds in our favor with going bullish here because the monthly and weekly daily is still up. Okay, so after this massive kind of impulse move, we came up to daily, we had a correction. There's all that basing. Okay, by the way, hopefully y'all Phantoms are doing well in this. Okay, because we mapped out some levels over here. I had some levels, 2440s. These all hit. Okay, and I'm like, these are not even the greatest levels in the world, but if we were to come down into here, we're still inside of this daily bar. Okay, swipe down. Okay, somebody shorted gold down in here. Of course they did, right? Red bar down, gold short. Okay, red bar down, gold short, right? Into a level of demand with the context of an uptrend, 20-period moving average in the daily time frame right here, and then boom, swiped out. Now we're making new highs. Okay, so always follow your higher time frames. Pretty simple stuff, folks. I'm bored already. Okay, Globex high here. It's the same shit every day. All right, Globex low here. Gold breaking up to the upside should not be a surprise to anybody in here. All right, and then now we're trying to go here, right? So we have what's left behind? Okay, demand zones, right? If we break below the Globex low here, okay, do I have demand zone right here? Yes. All right, pretty simple. Pretty simple stuff. All right, 2675. It could be a Globex trap. All right, G-Chep loan. All right, that was formed overnight. There could be a little something here right under this too, right below that Globex low. Now this has already been kind of tested though, right? This already got tested one time. This is the impulse basing impulse, and then we pulled back down in here. So this is already a retest of here. All right, so we got some stuff here, right below price. You know, if we don't get down there, because then we might be trying to pick up some momentum. Now, just because this thing is looking like it does want to break the mother bar doesn't mean it's going to, but I do like the basing, and I do like how we're already above last week's high on it. Small body range bar last week, right? So, you know, just be courteous here too. We have some supply. So if you already are long gold, good job, right? Just make sure you take some profit, you know, up here, right? Up into the supply zone, all right? Because we got some stuff up here. Right now, if you're a bit more aggressive, you know, for Globex trap shorts, okay. Remember, I'd want to be careful because remember we already had a you know, big move up, and then we had a bigger, deeper, steeper correction on the yellow being weeklies. All right, we rebalanced on the weeklies, 25.41. All right, then we had a nice move up, okay, and then we're absorbing this daily supply here on the left that I've been speaking about. Right now, the higher up one here on the daily supply is 27, call it 50, right, 27.50, and this could be the next level. In the event that gold breaks its mother bar, which is right there, that's that red bar right there from the daily, right there, that massively red bar. All right, I have no time to try to catch people up with charts. All right, get into phantoms. All right, move fast. All right, no, there's no baby stuff here. So we have this is the mother bar there, right? So if we do actually build some momentum after this basing, and now we're starting to get some momentum. If we do snap this 27.20 mother bar here, okay, we could potentially go higher, up deeper into the 27.50 handle on dailies, okay, on daily supply, which is up here. Right, there's a little bit of a drop, basing drop. Okay, so it would be kind of like the next level up in the event that to absorb some potential supply. Now this rally up could potentially have some supply up here as a correctional move back down, which would be nice, right? So gold's potentially trying to open up here, right, which is good, All right, if you're a bit more aggressive as a trader, we already had a couple pullbacks into these demand zones here. All right, always account for VWAP. But if you're a bit more aggressive, you could try to see if we get down into, it already happened a couple times already. Pull back in, here's VWAP, that white dash line here. What am I on, a 5-minute time frame here? So just be careful because it could swipe. Remember, we're still inside of that mother bar, right? So we have to be careful, so cautious. So you might want to just still maybe lean against these areas down in here for some potential rebalancing. I'll just give one price here, keep it short and sweet, 26.94 handle. All right, these levels on the small time frame had already been tested, so you want to be careful. So therefore, I'm just going to go 26.94. All right, this could be pullback demand to get long. This is fairly aggressive, so I'm going to put a couple of asterisks on this. And why is it aggressive? Because it's inside of the Globex session, and it's momentum for the day to catch a pullback long. Y'all can't see that. Make that a bit more lighter. All right, 26.94. But remember, we could flush, right? Things could flush. So some folks say, oh, you really think it's gonna get down at Globex trap level down in here because we're at highs up here? You know, markets are like that, right? They'll swipe, they'll do a quick swipe, okay? And they will break the Globex low real quick, right? Sometimes, and to trap some short sellers, okay? And then get long distribution, okay? So yeah, those are the two levels here that I would engage potentially here. This one up here would be a bit more aggressive, the 26.94 handle, VWAP test, okay? And then we got the Globex trap levels down in here, 26.74 handle. All right, simple as that. All right, with the orientation of the 27.20s mother bar high. All right, and then 27.50s higher level up daily supply absorption. All right, next, Apple on fire. Apple's one of the FANG stocks that are that are holding this up, right? So Apple's been quiet for quite some time. It's been jealous for a long time, right? July was the all-time high in Apple, is summertime, right? Summertime solace. And then, as other things were making all-time highs, Apple was just kind of creeping, and then it got jealous. So now it's making all-time highs, right? After this basing, the team has been doing very well in Apple. All right. Yesterday was put in a day. All right. Apple no gap today. All right. Could this continue? Absolutely, but just be just be cautious with that. All right. Amazon, same thing in terms of a gap. The team has been doing very well on Amazon. Friday we crushed Amazon in a good way. To the bullish side, all right, a little bit of a topping tail yesterday put in. Could this be the top for now to provide a correction, right? Some people say, oh, it's the end of Amazon. That's it. It's gonna crash. It's gonna crash. It's gonna crash. This could just provide a pullback, right? So just be careful. Yesterday's close. It's in a little, obviously a pretty significant bar to say the least. All right, close here, slight gap up. All right, is this one of the ones that I'm gonna pound short? Probably, I'd be careful with that. Okay, because remember this is yesterday made all-time highs, so it's still relative stronger. Google is talking right now because it just is capping up insanely right now. Okay, so not surprising too much. I've been trading long Google. I'm not sure if anybody still is holding anything on Google. Communication sector has been one of the stronger ones, and that's typically led by said Google. Okay, so we've been getting long Google. It doesn't surprise me one bit that we finally are trying to, again, kind of the jealousy, right? Everything's at all-time highs except for, a couple of stocks. Apple was one of them. Google is one of them still, Microsoft, etc. So they're being a little jealous here, so they're trying to trickle its way up. Could Google eventually at some point make all-time high? Pretty short in the near term. Of course, all right, would not be surprised one bit. Okay, everything else on the FANG stocks are eventually making the new all-time highs. I wouldn't see why Google wouldn't as well. We're only a couple of percentage points off of that, right? So we're gapping up. Now with this massive gap up, yes, it's a massive gap up. Just be careful, right? We are gapping up into some levels up in here. So it'd be better if we weren't gapping up into certain levels, but typically there's always going to be some kind of levels in here. The point I'm trying to make here is we do have some daily, weekly levels up here. So we're going to be a little bit careful with that. Tesla, we're long. Well, I'm long on this. Hopefully y'all did good. As far as a gap, I'm going to be careful with it. AVGO, slight gap down. MSTR, nice down day yesterday. I'm looking for it to come down lower. I'm going to sell some more puts on this. I'm just been on a sell put. Actually, yesterday was a nice day to do so. I want MSTR to come down more today. I'm going to sell some puts. Meta, Microsoft holding a bit more of relative strength. Okay. NVIDIA, potentially coming out of the gate pretty decent. AMD, more of one of the weaker ones for semiconductors. All right, weekly gap down yesterday. NVIDIA Doji bar already breaking above yesterday's high. All right, market open. Let me just check the internals really quickly. VIX, just off its highs. Advanced declines, negative 232. That's basically flat. It's slightly bearish. I shouldn't say bearish. Slightly down, no big deal. Vol D, slightly lower. All right, gold popping higher. AMD would be a bit more bearish. Let me load GAX box here. All right, NVIDIA out the gate. Pretty interesting. Yes, NVIDIA had bad news about monopoly in China. Microsoft, stronger one out of the gate here. Doesn't surprise me one bit. And we are snapping. Last week was nice because we had an inside bar, and kind of closed above or we had outside bar closing outside of the inside bars. So there's some good fall through on Microsoft. We've been getting long Microsoft. This morning still looking good here. All right, wide range bar off the open here. This is not closed yet. All right, but out the gate, that's something that we can really lean against here. Long Microsoft here. All right, it's kind of in a squeeze still. All right, I like it because it's very definitive for if we are wrong. Coming off the rising 20 on the small time frames too. So December 13th here. It'll be a day trade. What are we trading? The 447 handle. So if I pick up, say, the 450 for $3, that might not be too bad here. Pretty decent. Long call. All right. So Microsoft long call. Yeah, 450. I got filled at 276 personally. I want to be careful with a little bit of bullish exposure here. All right. Long call day trade. All right, Google so far on a gap and go. Tesla, I actually got assigned shares on Friday. Tesla looking good this morning. Yesterday, nice little pullback, rebalanced a bit. Crushed Tesla last week for the team. Let's see, we should be good to go on this. SPY slightly lower. I want to be patient on that. IWM was the one more bearish. All right, so I'm fixing long Tesla here. I wanted to see AMD. AMD in terms of the semiconductor. This has a weekly gap down from a hammer. So it's outside weak. So AMD breaking down a bit there on the monthly a little here, and then on the weekly a little slight gap down on the weekly. So that kind of a little bit of a breakaway gap there. So we want to be a little bit more patient with that. Google new high. Meta pretty decent too. So we got Fang off the gate pretty decent. So be careful with the shorts on SPYs and Qs. Meta looking good, bullish. Hammer bar off the open. On 5-minute time frame there. I'm gonna get long Tesla here. The what are we in? The 490 December 13th. So I'll pick up the 402 half. They're going for about 840. You hit market, long Tesla. All right. I got filled at 855. Long call Tesla 402 half. Strike. All right. If this comes down here, fills this gap, and let me see, 380, call it stop loss 388.09 or 388.08. I'll just keep the 8s kind of prevalent there. I'm out. All right. All right, 388.08. Let me just see what that looks like. $388.08. Come on, take a swing. It's pretty steep, about $4 of risk on that, so be careful, okay? All right, AMD trying to break down a bit there. So it'd be bearish. It'd be bearish on AMD. Long put. All right, VIX up a little bit here, spiking. Y'all see that? Still within its range of overnight, but it's on an uptick. It's noteworthy. Advanced declines lower. IWM probably new lows. Yeah, IWM down, flush. Anybody catching IWM short? Bearish? Nice little fall through there. All right, Tesla's making a new high. You kind of want to manage this aggressively, okay? All right, if you want to reduce some risk on Tesla, you could, okay? Tesla's implied vol is pretty high, so things are a little heaty in Tesla, okay? So I'm just taking a little bit of profit on these, okay? 873 is my fill. So I already TP'd a little bit here on Tesla. I want to manage that a little aggressively because that's a bullish trade and markets are kind of, you know, I don't want to say down, but they're a little heavy right now off the back of yesterday. So just make sure you're TPing aggressively. TP means take profit. All right. Managing that a little aggressive there. All right. Microsoft still trying to sift through. NVIDIA. All right, missed a little small long call there. All right, long call NVIDIA looking decent. You know, if I pick up the 180, the 142 for $1.84, that's not bad here. NVIDIA here. Bought these for 185. They gave me a fill at. Now it's gonna be hard for SPYs and Qs to drop down if NVIDIA, Tesla, things like that, or Microsoft holding bids, Google up. So probably could have did a lot better on this one here, but that circle ellipse right there was a nice little positive COG. So, long call NVIDIA. Yeah, as a day trade. Meta fall through if you're in. Nice little fall through in Meta there. Google's still looking somewhat decent. Yeah, it's not bad. You got a little something here. All right, clearing gap. All right, Microsoft new high, let's TP. So you see FANG is fairly strong, huh? Well, Microsoft, my fill must be terrible. Need a little bit more juice here. Looks like it's going there. Qs. Qs took out opening day's bar right there. Yeah, bullish, folks. I mean, I told y'all that this was, let me see, futures, did that bar get taken out? It's going to be very difficult to, go down when the market go down when we get FANG like this. So you see this bar gets taken out. So there's some people in pain right now who are short, need to get squeezed out. Positive COG on the positive COG. So yeah, long Qs, long NASDAQ. All right. All right, Tesla ripping. I'm back. I don't know. I think I went out. I don't know how long I went out there. Just saw some Tesla. Hopefully, I was mentioning, hopefully my Phantoms have been doing good on Tesla. We crushed that trade last week. So just TP'd some Tesla for today. Sold them at sold some at 980. Okay. So make sure you diligently take some profit. All right. Qs. Let me see NVIDIA. NVIDIA is also at like a quick little new all-time, not all-time high, just new high for the day. Google new high if you're in that. All right, there goes Microsoft. So here goes our chance. We could TP some Microsoft here. Q's had a nice little rip. I'm gonna TP some Microsoft. I got a 293 fill. Let's get the morning started. Google ripping. If anybody's in it, TP something there. Good job. All right, don't chase Qs. Qs coming up to some, some intraday level. All right, so just be careful. Make sure you TPing diligently there. Apple coming through here. Apple's just on fire. Could be a little something there, but I got to end this session because it's kind of already over my time here. And I'm bored. And I just don't care right now. Y'all bore me. All right, if you want to learn a little bit more about manage your stops, okay? There's some trades out here, folks. For my phantoms who know who are trained, they know what to do. If you want to get trained up and learn a little bit more about this, cool. I'll give you the website here in a moment. And if it's for you, great, cool. If it's not for you, great, cool. I don't care either way. But go to TradePhantoms.com. Make sure you get the right website. We got a couple fakes out there, which is good. Oh, I think Phantoms is making it. TradePhantoms.com. Click on that register button there if you want to. December 12th, 2024, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 days from now, 9 hours, 11 minutes, and 58 seconds away. First name, email, click your register button there, and then y'all can read, maybe, so y'all can read that there, okay? For everybody, one-stop shop, stocks, futures, forex, options, long-term wealth, short-term trading, everything, hosted by Mr. Black or Mr. Green. All right, they'll walk you through the process of kind of what this looks like. We have some phantoms in here, cool, right? We have some phantoms and maybe not some phantoms in here, cool as well. All right, if it floats your boat, cool. If it doesn't, all good as well, all good. Come take a look at it. I gotta go for now. I got things to manage. I'll see some of y'all later today in the class, and I'll see y'all, God willing, tomorrow morning, CPI day, in the live trade room for my phantoms. God bless. Take care. Blue out.